You ready? What a nice picture this is, huh, Governor? You ready? We'll do a good job. Wait, let me press that.
The price of everything is going up. Outbreaks of measles and bird flu are killing people. Airplanes are almost crashing or actually crashing and falling out of the sky. Tens of thousands of federal workers, including veterans, are being laid off in Donald Trump's government purge. And so, obviously, it's a Monday, and we've got 2 votes tonight, and so we're going to address one of those critical issues. Oh, no, actually, we're going to do something totally irrelevant to 99.9% of all people across the country. Now, let's just start with the basics, which is that everyone has and deserves human dignity without stipulations or preconditions. Not just the people you like, not just the people you understand, not just the people you agree with. Every human being is God's creature. And everyone, especially in the United States of America, has the right to be left alone. That is what freedom means, right? You've got to be left alone to live your life however you want within the bounds of the law. And so, what Republicans are doing today is inventing a problem to stir up a culture war and divide people against each other. And worse, they're trying to distract people from what they're actually doing, which is at a time when people are finding it harder and harder to afford the basic necessities, at a time when diseases we eradicated almost 20 years ago are making a comeback and killing kids, at a time when people are getting on flights and saying an extra prayer or breathing a little heavier, you have Donald Trump and the Republicans saying, you know what? Let's cut taxes for billionaires. Let's take money from regular people and the things that they rely on, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the Affordable Care Act. Let's take hundreds of billions of dollars from there and shovel it into the pockets of the richest people to have ever walked this earth, because that's what we need and that is what people voted for. Republicans are focusing on the wrong 1%. Trans people are not the reason people can't afford groceries or health care or housing. The other 1%, the top 1% economically, is responsible for a lot of that. And that's who Republicans are desperate to help. And they're doing it by going after some of the most vulnerable people in our society. I will be joining my Democratic colleagues in voting no on the pending legislation.
Madam President, today we have a very important day for women and girls across this country. Third time's a charm. This is the third time that I've had a vote on this bill. The other 2 times has failed because we have had almost 0 Democrats help to support women and girls in sports. Over the past 4 years, women's sports at all levels has been under attack Since the beginning of time, people have agreed that sex is assigned at birth and determined by God. But under Biden administration, you had people claiming that men can get pregnant. Pure, absolute insanity. But it didn't stop there. They weren't content just to erase gender norms that have been accepted for thousands of years. No, they wanted to allow transgender men to participate in women's and girls' sports. This has been happening at schools all across our country. We have women's teams in some states that are all boys. Let me say that again. We have women's teams in some states participating on the high school level that are all transgender boys. No opportunities for girls or women to participate on the team. Young women have been forced to compete against men and even share locker rooms and shower time. And on top of that, your taxpayer dollars are paying for it. Thankfully, President Trump just signed an executive order, said no more. No more federal money to any state that allows this to happen. But you have to understand, this only lasts as long as President Trump's in office. So we need this vote, which is going to happen in around an hour, to pass so we can make this into law. This executive order that he signed can be reversed. So we're going to continue to fight some states that are even not going by the executive order, like Maine, some in Michigan, some in New Jersey. Some saying we're not going to go by that law, even though the President of the United States says that men and women can't participate on the same team. That will end up going to court, so we'll see how that happens and what the answer will be. But the big part of the problem, we've created an unfair playing field where different states have had different laws impacting women and girls everywhere. This is not only confusing, but it is very, very dangerous. Congress needs to act on this to protect women in sports, to ensure Title IX protections are preserved. My bill that we are voting on today, in about an hour, the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act, would make sure women's rights to equal competition, equal scholarships, safe locker rooms, and that they all are protected. This legislation has already passed the House just about a month ago, with 2 Democrats actually supporting it. I appreciate the support of all my Republican colleagues on this. You have all joined me in championing this very important cause for the past 3 years. I especially want to thank Leader Thune for hanging and bringing this bill to the floor here in the United States Senate. This will be the 3rd time. It is hard to get a bill on this floor, but it is so important, and he understands that.
This vote, the yeas are 51 and the nays are 45. 3/5 of the senators duly chosen and sworn not having voted in the affirmative. The motion is not agreed to.